I saw this one tweet a while back saying how there had been 17 projects since last time there was even a mention or an actual appearance of Sam Wilson as Captain America in the MCU. And it really got me thinking, like, damn, what are they actually cooking at Marvel Studios right now? Like, the past 2 years there's been an obvious bloat of just MCU content and just the overall oversaturation of the amount of stuff that we've been getting in comparison to phases 1 through 3 in the Infinity Saga, and the overall somewhat clear lack of direction from what we've gotten with this more linear storytelling with the Infinity Saga leading up to Thanos, with this one obviously leading to Kang. But there's so many projects that aren't really focused on that or don't really have much of an impact, and it's like Kevin Feige and company just went crazy and thought like every single like character that wasn't worthy of a movie deserves like a 6-episode plus miniseries. And like not every character needed a Disney Plus show, or not everything needed to be made into a Marvel project. Like, who in their right mind asked for an Agatha spin-off show? Like, when I first heard this, I legit said to myself out loud, why? Like, this is just one of the most useless things I've ever heard to come out of phase 4 and 5 of the MCU. The show has gone through 3 different name changes. Yeah, this show was cooked. There's no convincing me otherwise. For those watching, are y'all excited about Ironheart or Echo? I mean, hell, with Echo, they're dropping all the episodes in one day, so you already know they're not even confident with that by having it not being a weekly release. If you were to ask an average Marvel Comics fan of different Disney Plus presentations or just spin-off shows that you would like to see on characters, they'd probably be like, I'd probably like to see like a Blade project, maybe something on Ghost Rider, maybe something on the Silver Surfer, maybe like a Wolverine spin-off film or show, maybe a Doctor Doom project. I think Richard Rider Nova has been long overdue for a project, whether it be in a Disney Plus format or a movie, preferably a movie. What's that? You wanted all these cool characters that have their own projects to solidify their presence in the important storytelling of the MCU? No. You want an Echo show with the whole purpose of setting up Daredevil and Kingpin. Oh, hey, I know y'all really like that Agatha All Along song, so we'll just give her like a whole Disney Plus show. And then with the Infinity Saga, you knew who the main players were. Obviously, you had the main 6 Avengers with Tony and Steve kind of being like the catalysts or the pretty much the main players for the storytelling narrative of the MCU. But with the multiverse saga, I mean, I guess we can make assumptions like Loki, Sylvie, Doctor Strange, I guess are kind of the main players, but how often do they appear in projects outside of their own? Like, when was the last time, like outside from like maybe like a postcard scene from Quantumania, last time we saw Loki in a significant way was Loki season 1. That was like 2 years ago. Pointing back to that Captain America tweet, it's like you have had 2 years, 17 projects worth of MCU content in which there has been no mention as Sam Wilson as Captain America. Back in the day, if you had a favorite Marvel character, you didn't really have to wait that long to see them again. Like, for example, let's say your favorite character was like Black Widow, for example. You would see her at least every 2 years max in MCU movies. You saw her in like 2010 in Iron Man 2, then you'd see her in the Avengers 2 years later. 2 years later after that, you'd see her in Winter Soldier. A year after that, you see her in Age of Ultron. A year after that, you see her in Civil War. 2 years after that, you see her in Infinity War. Then a year after that, Endgame. And that would pretty much be the pattern for like a lot of the main players in the MCU. But for this, it's like, when are we gonna see Shang-Chi? Like, it's most likely he's getting a sequel, but it'd probably be like what, like a 4 to 5 year gap between like his first film and the next one. Or what about the Eternals? I mean, I don't really care for the Eternals, but if I did, like, I'd wonder, when's the next time we're gonna see them again? When's the next Eternals 2? What, like 2025 or something? Pretty much there's been no ties or references to that, anything that's significant happened in Eternals other than that one article in She-Hulk, which served as more of an Easter egg than anything. And then to add on into even more of a mess of having a disjointed amount of screen time to certain characters, Phase 4 has spent a lot of time introducing us to new characters, like I said, with like the Eternals and Shang-Chi. But like, if She-Hulk doesn't get a season 2, when was the next time we'd see her? Or Scar at the end of She-Hulk? Like, what was the point of even introducing him? And like, you see these different seeds for like the younger characters like Miss Marvel, Scar, Kate Bishop, Wanda's fake children, that one kid from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, America Chavez, Ironheart, which most likely would lead to a Young Avengers project. But me personally, I have no interest or desire in seeing a Young Avengers project in the MCU, like to any capacity. A handful of these newer characters like Cassie, for example, from Quantumania, all have kind of like the similar personality of like being too smart for their age, and they're very sassy and sarcastic. Like, I just don't really care to see like potential chemistry or dynamics with the other younger characters. Like, they just don't really appeal to me like that. And how many of these projects in the last 2 years have actually led to anything significant with the Kang or the multiverse in general. Let's see, we have Loki, No Way Home, Doctor Strange 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think that about covers it. And honestly, I wouldn't even have that big of an issue with having these different projects that kind of do their own thing, like they're very separate from the main storyline that you're trying to tell, if they were consistently written well, but that's just not the case. Like, bro, first thing they gotta do, they gotta get rid of these Rick and Morty having writers, like, out of here, bro. Like, Jessica Gao and her team of writers for She-Hulk, like, because there's rumors going around that they're planning a season 2 before the strikes happened. Yeah, only way I'd give that a chance if it has a completely brand new writing staff, because the writing for season 1 just was not it. And there's also those statements that apparently Jeff Loveness and Michael Waldron were booted out of writing Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. So if all that is the case, then that is definitely the step in the right direction, which is a pattern that I'm seeing. Originally, the writer for Black Widow was supposed to write Thunderbolts, but now that person has been booted and is being written by a new person. You know, I've seen a lot of talk online about like MCU fatigue and how it's going to be really hard to get back on track in the heights of the Infinity Saga. Honestly, I don't think it's really that big of an issue. It really only comes down to one simple solution. Just get good writers. Like, just cook again. Like, really, all y'all got, you have these mediocre, inexperienced chefs in the kitchen, bro. Get some of them gourmet Gordon Ramsay level chefs, bro, back in your kitchen if you want to make good food. And it's not like y'all ain't got the money for it. You're owned by Disney. It's really simple. Instead of spending time and resources on giving us mindless spin-off shows on characters that people don't really care for, like Echo, Agatha, or Ironheart, give actually interesting premise shows that will not only sound good on paper, but given with the right talent, actually would be executed really well. Because with the oversaturation of content, you can tell that Kevin Feige was being stretched too thin when it came to quality control, because I guarantee you back in the day that he actually had the time to go over each and every individual project to make sure that it was up to somewhat of a quality and that it actually fits in the narrative. But it's like, I just find it really hard to believe that he looked at the entirety of She-Hulk and was like, yeah, this is the one right here. As of right now, they haven't revealed the slate for phase 6 yet, so this does give them the opportunity to kind of downsize and be like, all right, let's just like cut down the amount of phase 6 projects and actually focus on stuff that will actually be beneficial, like both in terms of success and fan reception, but also leads to the larger narrative that we're trying to tell, like a Doctor Strange 3 or maybe something else like Spider-Man 4 or whatever. Like, we don't need a She-Hulk season 2 prioritized before the production of Blade. I'm sorry, I still cannot get over this Agatha spinoff. Like, who asked for this?